Let's face it, it ain't a party without a sausage roll, especially a freshly baked one with luscious, buttery puff pastry. But I have a much healthier version for you, and it means that you want to serve it at every party and your kids to be eating them, and you can indulge in them too. So the first thing I'm going to do is finely chop some garlic. And now for some onion. You don't have to do it this way, but I like to save myself the tears, and I grate onion in a food processor. I find that grating an onion instead of chopping it works much better in the mixture when you're eating it at the end. Add the garlic. I'm using butter beans because they're nice and big. You can use cannellini beans or anything that's lighter, especially if I'm using pork mince. So if I'm using beef mince or lamb mince, for example, then I would use a kidney bean or a black bean. Just want to chop it to a coarse paste. And then I'm just going to transfer this mixture to a large bowl. You can mash the beans with a masher or a fork, but because I'm using the food processor, I just thought I'd add it all in at the same time. Some zucchini and carrot, really good ones to add in to fly under the radar. Saves so much time, especially if you're preparing for a party. By squeezing out the liquid, it just helps the filling to stick together and avoids the sausage rolls from getting soggy. Add it all into the bowl. Now for some quick instant oats. I add instant oats instead of rolled oats because they break down in the mixture more easily. It's also a good one to lower cholesterol. So I have some pork mince. I'm only using 300 grams. And I have some ground fennel seeds. Toasted fennel seeds are really delicious in this mixture, but just in case for the kids, I'm using ground fennel. You can disguise it more easily. Pork and sage are a classic flavour combination, but you can use your favourite herb. Hardy herb that has a woody stem always works well because it has more flavour. So oregano or thyme, rosemary, and I just finely chopped. And then a good seasoning with salt, because we definitely don't want a bland sausage roll. Some freshly ground black pepper and a beautiful free-range egg. Now the best way to do this is with your hands. All of the ingredients mixed really well together. You can change up the flavours. You can use beef or lamb mince, your favourite herbs that might go with those. I even turn this mixture into meatloaf sometimes, and you can just cook it into a loaf pan. Feels pretty good. So I'm just going to divide it roughly into thirds. So I'm going to make 3 large rolls. Okay. I love using filo pastry as my wrapper. I'm just going to lay out 5 sheets onto the board, the longest side facing you, and just spray in between each layer with some spray oil, or you can brush with a pastry brush. Using oil instead of butter means that this recipe is dairy-free. And don't worry too much if they've broken up a little here, because they'll all stick together. Line them up as best as you can. I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed these sausage rolls compared to a standard sausage roll. And you'll also find that in each serve, there is 1 serve of veg, which is of course unheard of in a traditional sausage roll. Let's make one. Just get about 1/3 of the mixture. 3 or 4 centimetres at the front. Make sure the filling comes all the way to the edge, because you don't want the end bit without any filling in it. These are so good. So that's spread out nice and evenly, and then you just roll it up. Nice and tightly. Just put it seam side down. And now I'm just going to brush the surface with an egg wash that I've made from oil and an egg yolk, because I'm making these dairy-free. This will make them really nice and golden. That's good. I like to put some poppy seeds on top. You can use sesame seeds or a mixture of both. Just give it a good sprinkle, makes it look pretty. You can make up a mixture of the filling and freeze half. So normally I would cut each of these rolls into 4, so you can get your own personal one, but because I have a party later on, I'm just going to cut them into 12 pieces. So you can make up a double batch of the filling. Unfortunately, you can't make the sausage rolls and freeze them because you're using phyllo pastry, but it's a good way to get ahead. So I'm just going to bake these for 40 minutes at 180 degrees until nice, golden and crisp. A commercially made sausage roll has more than 6 times the saturated fat, double the calories, and more than double the carbs than this sausage roll. So, go wild, kids. Now I just need to make sure they're okay before they get here. That is good.